Hello, welcome along to It's Not Just Cricket. We are back in the Spotify studio. Great to be here. And that, of course, means we are together again. Azim is here. If you're watching on YouTube, you will know because you'll be watching. But if you're listening, Azim is in front of me as I live and breathe. And you're here to do the marathon.
I am very excited. Just got down here. Sun's out. Sunday's going to be, like I said to you, I don't understand why I'm so excited about something that's going to be so painful. But, I'm super, super excited. Amazing charity that I'm running for. And yeah, it'll be one of them days that by the end, if I'm still moving, I'll take a lot of pleasure from.
Have you done one before?
No, never done a half marathon. So
what?
Yeah, right in there. To be honest, it was floated to me last year. And I thought about it, and then, I wanted to do something for a children's charity, and I got an opportunity very late, just before Christmas. I was like, shall I not? And I've just gone in with it. I'm looking forward to it, Matt.
Yeah, no, of course not. You've got to enjoy it. And you run a lot anyway. You're a fit guy. So let us know then, how can we contribute? I presume it's not too late to sponsor you. Might as well get a shameless plug out the way.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, there's links. I mean, we can share a link with the podcast as well. It's an amazing charity called Children Not Numbers. They support children in conflict zones, and with what's going on in our world right now, there's never been a better time. It's really important work that they do, and I'm super proud, to play a very, very small part. So anything that people can contribute, it will go to good work.
Well said, mate. And best of luck on Sunday. You're a better man than me. I will not ever be doing a marathon.
The ballot started for next year now, so get signed up. So anyone that wants to run it, get signed up for the ballot next year.
My knees would explode. My back would seize up. I'd probably break my leg round it. Yeah, I know. Not for me, mate. Not for me. I'll do other challenges, but the marathon, I just don't think my body could stand up to it, sadly. But are you here as well, maybe to conduct the odd interview? Have you heard back from the England setup yet?
Well, I'm not here for that, but I did hear yesterday, actually. I wasn't successful in getting an interview.
Are you surprised?
No, not really. To be honest, listen, I do feel like, I've got some strong views on the game. I understand the game well enough and I could have added value, but, for me, it was just something I wanted to put my hat into the ring. What I will say is that within the decisions that have been made by keeping Stokes, Key, McCullum, this role is quite possibly the most important role that will define what actually goes on with this England environment. And whoever it is going to need to be a very, very strong personality. I think they're going to have to be able to say no to Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes in a room. Which will be quite interesting. So, yeah, we'll look from afar and see how they get on.
Did you get a phone call? Was it an email? What was the conversation?
No, just an email. I think the recruitment people, whoever they were, they give you a bit of feedback, which was nice to get a little bit of feedback. But, it was just a generic email.
Okay. So next time, apply for the head coach job when it comes up?
Never know.
No, we want Brendan to carry on. We want him to keep on doing well. I tell you what you could do as a nice bit of side business is buy into 100 franchise if you've got the money, because that is what a certain Jude Bellingham has just done, who is a genuine, let's not beat around the bush, he's a football megastar. This is big news. It really is. You would say Bellingham and Kane are the two most famous footballers in the country. I don't think there's any doubt on that. He's bought 1.2% of the Birmingham Phoenix, which is where he's from. He loves Birmingham. He started playing at Birmingham City before he ended up moving on, going to Germany and now Real Madrid. So it's quite interesting this, isn't it? I've heard it's somewhere around about £1 million of his own money, which for him is probably not that much. It's probably
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks maybe of work. And of that 1.2%, 0.6% is from the Warwickshire ownership, and 0.6% is from Knighthead Capital. So they've both sold him part of their own shares of the company, as it were. I mean, do you think this is really good news in terms of publicity, in terms of generating interest in this country? Because even though we say, yeah, of course, cricket, everyone likes cricket, it's the summer sport, the fact of the matter is it's miles behind football. Having a big footballer on board, if you can get him to matches, this could be big.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think it's bad news. I think it's good to create interest. When the announcement has happened, and obviously there's been a drip of some of the coverage, the video that came out a day after, the story broke, I think was all good. But if I compare it to what we're trying to do, or, what the IPL has done with Bollywood and the way that captures it, if it was a Bollywood star that took, any stake in an IPL team, it would literally be the news day and night across the board. And
but we don't have Bollywood.
But that's the thing, right? So for our culture, the franchise, the celebrity element doesn't really capture the imagination in the same way. And will we see him at matches? I don't know. Possibly. He might come to one or two. Will it create the interest that it would if there was a, IPL Bollywood star over there? Probably not. So I don't know how significant it is in terms of a good news, but I don't think it's a bad news. I don't think that's sitting on the fence. I think that's just how I see it. If it was a bigger percentage, then then I think it'd be a little bit more like like the Wrexham and the football that they're the owners, right? That's really gathering momentum. That is taking it somewhere. It's 1.2%. A lot of,
but he could have invested that money anywhere. There's probably so many investment opportunities for him. I think the fact that he's chosen to invest it in the 100 is significant because A, it means he believes in the competition, and B,
does it?
Yeah, he's not going to just plough £1 million into something he doesn't think he's going to get something back from it, is he?
I'm not sure there's a return on investment here. You've got United Capital own Birmingham City as well. So there's a bigger, and I think there's some CSR stuff around the whole partnership as well. Like I said, I don't think it's bad news, but I don't think it's as big as sometimes we can think, because I just don't think the culture captures the imagination in what we're potentially trying to replicate with the United Capital, Birmingham, that sort of, I guess, vehicle. I think, listen, I think it'll be a good thing for the area, and it'd be great to see him at the games. Actually, regardless of anything, it'd be great to see an England football star, at a match, and if he's more involved, maybe he can bring some of his teammates along. Never know, you might get some Arsenal players buying into the Mumbai Indians, MI Oval, whatever they're called.
They've got to buy into the spirit, North London, mate.
Yeah, so listen, it might be the start of something. Like I said, we're still a little bit away from that sort of IPL style Bollywood, that's connection and the value that can create. I don't think this is a business return on investment, but that's my personal view.
What I do like about it is that he clearly likes cricket. He played it when he was younger. He played at Hagley Cricket Club with his brother Job. I don't know to what level he played, but knowing Jude Bellingham, he probably was quite handy, you would say. And actually, there's a history of footballers loving cricket, playing cricket. I know Harry Kane, he's an IPL fan. He used to tweet that he was watching the IPL on Sky when I was presenting it and saying, oh, how good is this game? How good is CSK and all this kind of stuff. And we were like, wow, we need to get him on. Obviously, we couldn't get him on. I remember watching the Tottenham team actually playing cricket in one of their days off, so even some of the Spanish players were getting into it, Sergio Reguilon and people like that. Joe Hart, actually, he was a good player, wasn't he? Left arm seamer. I think he played for England under-15s at the Esker Festival, didn't he? Have you come across any professional footballers who've been really good cricketers? Who'd be the best?
Oh, I mean, Phil Neville I think played Lancs under 15s, and I think he had the genuine, from what we've heard, not seen it myself, like he had a genuine choice to make, and he went with football. I'm sure he's happy with that choice. We had, like, listen, at Yorkshire, we had a few players who said that they were involved in academies, but I think it might have been summer camps that they decided to say it was Man City Academy. Adam Lyth, I think.
Oh, right, okay. You're talking about cricketers.
Cricketers the other way.
Not so many of them, but yeah, I'm thinking more like proper footballers who actually were quite handy with a cricket bat or ball. I mean, you know, obviously in the old days, you'd have Dennis Compton, Ian Botham, who played professionally on both sides.
Arnie Sidebottom?
Did he?
I don't know. What did he? There's someone that played for Yorkshire that was involved in Manchester United.
I think it might have been Arnie Sidebottom. Yeah, Ryan Sidebottom's dad, right? Yeah, I think you're right. We'll have to look that up. I'll do that during your next answer. I'll have a little look. I remember watching a video recently. Sean Longstaff plays for Leeds, played for Newcastle. He's a really handy bowler. Watched a video of him playing in the North East Premier League, getting out Phil Mustard's son. Yeah, so there are a few knocking around. It's a shame you can't have the dual code anymore. But yeah, I'll have a look into that Arnie Sidebottom thing in a minute. In general, with this new ownership that's coming in the 100, how do you think the public are going to react to this new Hollywoodization, Bollywoodization, these new brash owners? I'm not saying Jude Bellingham is that, but obviously, you know, Knighthead might be like that. Obviously, the IPL owners, we know what they're like. You know, they like being front and centre and they won't mince their words. How do you think the British public's going to react to that?
I think this is going to be the most fascinating part of the 100, actually, because it's a massive cultural change. You know, gone from county cricket, nice, calm, 4 days at the county championship today. I think a lot of grounds are pretty well attended. And like I said, the culture doesn't really capture that sort of razzmatazz, celebrity, players being, followed outside of the ground for autographs. So I'm really interested in how cricket in this country reacts to these owners, especially like someone like Goenka from the Super Giants up in Manchester. Already with the logo, there's been a lot of sort of backlash.
The elephants.
The way he carries on in the IPL. Even, I don't know if you listen to Lalit Modi, who created the IPL, absolute visionary. From that point of view, he called him a word that I can't repeat it on here.
Yeah. Begins with a W. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, and I think he said he's his brother-in-law as well. So, yeah, he didn't mess about.
Not sure they'll be spending Diwali together after that.
Yeah, I don't think so. So, it'll be interesting. I think if some of the ownership, especially, I think that one could be quite interesting. It'll be interesting how the public reacts to it, to be honest, and whether that, again, captures the imagination, because, like I said, our culture doesn't really warm to them type of behaviours. You see it in football when the owners get too involved. The fans really don't like it, do they?
No.
Well, unless there's success at the end of it. So, yeah, I'm fascinated. That's the one part, actually, why I will probably be tuning in around the 100. To see how everyone sort of gets on this year, because it's going to be a culture shock to a lot of people.
You mentioned Lalit Modi there. You're right, visionary. He was the guy who started the IPL. He's over here now, isn't he? He can't go to India. And actually, he's kind of popped up a little bit more in the last couple of years. He's been quite active in terms of podcasting, social media, and he's very, very interesting. His box office. Lalit, if you're listening, mate, we'd love to have you on this. Come on, we'll get right into some proper debate. Don't mind having an argument with you, having a proper discussion. Not that we want to argue with you, of course, but how good would he be if we got him on? He'd be fascinating.
Absolutely fascinating. You know what? In my training, I was listening to a podcast called Acquired. And there's two gentlemen. They basically pick up a business and they do like a 4-hour podcast, deep diving into different businesses. And they've done it around F1, Coca-Cola, etc., etc. And they did one on the IPL. And God, oh my Lord, it was just mesmerizing stuff. If you honestly, the way the IPL was set up by Lalit and the way he set that up and created value is incredible. If you get a chance, you've got to listen to it. So, and then listening to him in the last sort of little bit, it's, he is popping up everywhere. Pretty vocal about the commercial journey that the IPL is on and where he thinks like still undervalued. With the two teams being sold recently, he thinks by 2030 or something it's going to get to 5 billion each. These are incredible numbers, but when you listen to that podcast, it's the sort of stuff he said when he first got into the BCCI, and he went and did it. And now I've heard that he wants to get into MMA. So absolutely fascinating stuff. So again, we would love to have him on.
I like him even more now because MMA is my second sport after cricket. I love MMA. I've been following the UFC for ages. Maybe we'll get it from the horse's mouth. Who knows? We'll see if we can organise that. That would be amazing. By the way, Arnie Sidebottom, you're right. Played for Manchester United, Huddersfield Town, and Halifax Town, which your neck of the woods, isn't it? Not a million miles away. And of course, he played for Yorkshire, and his son Ryan did as well with aplomb. Ryan Sidebottom probably played with Kevin Pietersen, I would imagine, maybe just the back end of KP. And KP's been in the news again with his old mate Sir Alastair Cook. He has not minced his words once more. Of course, KP and Cook don't like each other. The big falling out when KP was effectively pushed out of the England side when Cook was the captain. They've never seen eye to eye. Very different ideologies, approaches to cricket. And it's just resurfaced again because Alastair Cook said on a podcast he thought Jacob Bethell's wasting his time sitting on the bench at the IPL with RCB, which is what he's doing. He hasn't played a game yet, which some people are slightly surprised by, but RCB have got some good overseas options. Phil Salt, they need to open the batting. They need an all-rounder, so they've got Romario Shepherd at the moment. That's maybe the only spot that he could take. Tim David's playing well, so he's not going to get dropped. And then obviously they have one overseas bowler, which will be Stark probably when he comes back. Someone else is doing that role at the moment. I've forgotten briefly. Anyway, that is by the by. Alastair Cook said he should not be at the IPL. He's wasting his time. Should be back here playing county cricket, getting ready for the first test match, which we all presume he's going to be the number 3 in. Kevin Pietersen has tweeted, and he said this: Alastair Cook has absolutely no idea. He puts that in caps. He kind of is a bit like Trump in his tweets.
Thanks for your attention to the matter.
Yes, yeah. Alastair Cook has absolutely no idea what it's like to be in the IPL, what it's like to always be around the best players in the world. Ouch. So his opinion on Jacob Bethell doesn't matter at all. Stay in India, Jacob. I know, even though when you're not playing, you're learning and will be a way better player. Interesting. I'm sure Cook will come back with that. So who's right here? Alastair Cook or Kevin Pietersen?
Kevin Pietersen, in my opinion. I don't understand. I think we've spoken about this before. English cricket in KP's time were very on a collision course with the IPL. They didn't believe in it, and they got left behind. And then there was a period where they really believed in it when Owen Morgan was captain. 6-7 players were in the IPL. Chris Wokes, Johnny Bairstow, Jason Roy, Alex Hales, Moeen Ali. A lot of them. And it was right, English cricket has really now embraced the IPL and the positives that it brings. And then it feels like we, from an attitude point of view, gone the other way again. And whether it's directly from the top, from the ECB, whether it's a little bit of the players as well, because I think we had a period where our players were actually in the 11 and they were getting the big money. And we know that English and Australian players in particular have gone in the IPL auction. If they've not got the big money, they've pulled out. Or if they've not been in the 11, they've pulled out and come back. So I don't know where the change of attitude has come from, but
is it not a reaction to the poor performance in the Ashes? Because had England gone there, won, then all of the players who were playing or involved in the test team would have been like, okay, great, we've done that. I can now go and I've earned my time in the IPL. Whereas now, some of them are their places under threat. You know, Ben Duckett, etc. So they've got to stay here and get runs or wickets.
Well, places under threat, and actually the ones that have pulled out, they weren't going to get in the 11. Let's not beat around any bush. The reason they've pulled out is because they didn't get the big money in the auction, and they're not going to be in the 11. Going to this point, actually, I don't think it should be a.
Well, Harry Brook pulled out.
Yeah, but he's an England captain, and that's the reason he's pulled out. That's the decision he's made. I don't think it's the right decision. I think we're underestimating.
Do you think Harry Brook, even though he's the England captain, should have played in the IPL?
I think we're underestimating the value of being with the best actually has for players, and on that point is what Kevin Pietersen is making. And I don't think it should be a one fit all. But Jacob Bethell last year hardly played for a large part of the tournament and then played at the back end. But he's with Andy Flower. It's quite ironic because, you've got Alastair Cook here, Andy Flower there. So in a way, KP's saying being with Andy Flower, although he's not going to say it, but actually being with Andy Flower is absolutely brilliant for Jacob Bethell. I'm not saying that he won't get anything out of playing the county game, right? Ideally, you want the best of both worlds, but you don't have the best of both worlds. I have absolutely no problem with Jacob Bethell being there in that environment. He's going to learn a hell of a lot. He's with one of the best coaches that has modern day coaches across formats, who's been there, done it, and it helped him last year. So I absolutely agree with that. On Sir Alastair Cook, actually, as a pundit or as someone who's analysed the game, listen, he obviously what he achieved in the game, incredible. I think when I listen to him, a lot of times I don't think I agree with a lot of his. I think it's very short-sighted. And I'll give an example of that. He was one of the people that predicted that England would win 3-1 in the Ashes. So
yeah, but he's not the only one that did that.
But so my point is, you've got people like Kevin who are a little bit more right? They see the bigger picture a little bit more. They're a bit more visionary. They're a little bit more risk takers. You've got risk taker and you've got risk averse. You've got different personalities here. You've got someone that just wants to do the basic, just do that old school, boring stuff that worked for him. And that's fine because it worked for him, clearly, incredibly. But that doesn't mean that that's the right thing for everyone. And watching
But then also it's not the right thing for everyone to have the Kevin Pietersen approach either, right?
It's absolutely not. But Jacob Bethell, where do I think, this is what I said at the start, there's not a one fit all. In this situation, I think for Jacob Bethell, from what I see, I think it is absolutely more that way. And I've got no problem. Jacob Bethell playing in a county championship, he will get benefit out of it. I don't fully agree with Kevin that he's going to get nothing out of, because some of the replies when people have gone at him, listen, the county game, the first class game has a lot that, there's a lot for a player. But this is just a matter of making a decision on what's the best for this particular player. And I agree with him. I think Jacob Bethell being over there, being with Andy Flower, who like I said, I think he's absolutely brilliant, being in the IPL. And like last year, there might be an injury. He might come in and he might play a big part in the back end of the tournament. And listen, he's an IPL winner. It helped him last winter, without a shadow of a doubt, in my opinion. But, love it. Love KP just going out and saying it as it is.
Listen, one thing I will disagree with you there is I don't think Alastair Cook is not a good pundit. I actually think what he says a lot of time makes a lot of sense. I think maybe some people don't like it because he's got quite a dry, serious delivery. But actually, I think a lot of what he says makes sense. You just need to have someone alongside him who's who's can bring the fun out of him a little bit more, rather than someone else who's also quite straight down the line.
Yeah, I mean, listen, ultimately, it's that same argument. Like we're different in the way what we see as like.
Yeah, everyone has different tastes.
Exactly, it's a different taste, right? If you are an expert, what's happened, anyone can describe. What's happening, anyone can describe. Like seeing what might happen, and actually, I think it goes back to how he was as a player, as a captain. He just reacted to what was put in front of him, and that was absolutely brilliant for him. You've got a completely different personality in Kevin Pietersen, and I would align more to that thought of the approach, and that's all it is. I don't think there's a right or wrong. Ultimately, as we talked about Bazball and that cult, it is ultimately you're going to be judged on the outcome. It's the outcome that's going to. So if he comes back, if Jacob Bethell comes up and lights up against New Zealand, gets 100, 50, 100, Kevin Pietersen was right. Right? If he comes back, nicks off, looks out of sorts, Alastair Cook was right. It's literally as simple as that. And that's what you'll judge it on. So
it's harder than people think, isn't it? Because you can't please everyone. You can't necessarily have your game in the right place in both places. You kind of got to prioritise one, haven't you?
And I think on that, there is this one, and again, this is something I worry going into this year. There's a lot of baggage from this winter. Now, this winter's happened. You've got to learn from it, but every decision can't be with this winter still in the still you can sort of sense, we did it, that we can't do it again. We didn't prepare well, so we must now go the total opposite, which is my biggest worry with this environment, because they've been extreme in one place. The real danger now is to jump to the extreme in the other place. They're going to have to, at some point, sit together and just go, right, that's now gone. That's gone. We cannot do anything about it. We've got to try and make the decisions in front of us, which is what I think they'll struggle with. So I think it's going to be an interesting summer. But listen, ultimately, let's see what Jacob Bethell does.
And with Bethell there already, we just heard in the last few days, Rehan Ahmed's been picked up by the Delhi Capitals as Ben Duckett's replacement, actually, which is kind of strange because they are different kinds of players. Again, I've looked at their squad, and I don't really see how Rehan's going to play very much. They've got David Miller, Tristan Stubbs. Who else have they've got? They've got another batter in there, and then they've got a bowler who always plays. I'll look up their squad in a moment. But I don't think he's going to play very much, basically. I think it's going to be a similar situation to Bethell. So again, what is the right thing for Rehan Ahmed? Is it not exactly the same situation?
Well, I don't know if it's exactly the same, because he's not going to be shoo-in to the England Test team. But I think it's absolutely brilliant for Rehan Ahmed. I think it's absolutely brilliant for him. I think it's going to be his first experience of it. He's going to be in a country where, even the local spinners are incredibly skillful. He'll get to sort of, rub shoulders with them. He'll get, from a batting point of view, he'll get even more sort of different approach, a different thought process going into the game. So I think he'll learn a hell of a lot. I don't say this in a disrespectful way. I think he's going to learn way more there, whether he plays or not, than he would in county cricket. That's my view. I don't think he's in contention for the Test team. That's pretty clear. I think England prefer a safer option. I don't think England are ready for a leg spinning all rounder in England. So I think he's going to learn just so much. I'm really, really happy for him, and I'm excited, because if you look at Rehan's career, no matter which environment he's been put into, he's gone there and he's got better.
Yeah, progressed, hasn't he?
He's progressed at every environment he's been put into, and listen, the IPL is the best.
Yeah, just looking at Delhi Capital's last game, so their overseas were Putnam Nisanka, David Miller, Tristan Stubbs, so they play 3 overseas batters. Maybe he could get in ahead of Nisanka, but Nisanka's, good player, proper opener, playing well. And then Lungi Ngidi, who's one of the best fast bowlers in T20 right now. They're not going to drop him. So it will be hard for him, but we wish him all the best. Just before we finished, on Rehan Ahmed. Now, what he did in the county championship for Leicestershire, I thought was a great example of that progression, like how he takes steps up. With bat and ball, he had a brilliant season. Probably was unlucky not to have played in the Ashes. Are you concerned that maybe his progress in 4-day cricket might be affected by the focus on white ball cricket, and that we might actually not see much of him in the Test arena again after this?
I think England's got to show more faith in him, or show a willingness to pick him for him to, if he was making that decision again, if he was told that he was in contention, I don't think he would have gone. Which is the surprising thing about this England setup. We talked about it when Will Jacks was picked. Is actually, for all the brashness of attacking players, etc., etc. For me, there's not a more exciting cricketer than a leg spinning all rounder. And a proper leg spinning all rounder who's got, what did he get? 5 first class hundreds last year. He got 5 fours. He did everything that you want a spinner to do, and he didn't get in the squad. So I think on a personal level, he's got to do what's best for him. And last year I don't know if he had the opportunity last year, but he's sort of gone with playing the red ball game, stayed around, got that opportunity by being in the right place, batting up the order. And this year he's got an opportunity to go to the IPL. I personally, in today's cricket, jumping formats is not as as big an issue as it would have been looked up in the past. And like I said, with Jacob, he's going to be around the best. He's going to learn from coaches that know spin bowling a lot more than here. He could go the next 5-6 weeks and hardly bowl if he was here. The weather is decent right now, but so I don't know. I think it's one of them decisions, and you've got to make it on a personal level to where you are at. But I would like English cricket as a whole to really step back and look at why they've managed to find themselves in a situation where they've sort of unembraced the IPL again, because those that play it will just race away and will get left behind in white ball cricket.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it goes in circles, doesn't it? Depending on whether you're strong in Test cricket or not. That dictates a lot of it, doesn't it? Okay, we'll keep our eye on Rehan Ahmed. Hope that he gets a game, because that would be very big for his career. In fact, we're going to be in the next episode, we're going to be picking our England Test 11 for the first Test match against New Zealand. So make sure you download that to see if Rehan gets in, although you can probably judge by the chat it's unlikely. We're also going to pick our T20 International or T20 World 11 in the same episode. Always good fun, those kind of selection episodes. So that'll be with you pretty soon. Good luck, mate, on Sunday. I'm very impressed. Anyone who runs the marathon, as I say, they're better people than I am. It's an incredible achievement. You're doing it for a good cause. And I just wish you all the best when you get to that moment, when you hit that wall. You're probably going to hit a few walls, but the really big one, just wishing you the best of strength to get over it and get over the line.
Thank you, mate. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be good fun.
You'll be good, mate. You're a fit guy. You're a determined guy. Thank you very much for listening, for watching. We really appreciate you guys. Make sure you follow us at INJC Pod on socials, and make sure you tune in for our next episode, which will be dropping in the next few days.